Hi, I'm Fabian. If your child attends one of the Community Schools of Frankfort, you're going to want to hear what I'm about to say. I have a few ideas on how we can help our students and our schools reach their full potential. Warning, there's going to be a lot of data, so prepare yourself for that. The Community Schools of Frankfort are made up of Suncrest Elementary, Blue Ridge Primary, Green Meadows Intermediate, the middle school, and of course the high school. Now there are 3 key points that I want to talk to you about today. That's going to be student behavior, test results, and teacher retention. The first thing I want to address is how turbulent our schools have become. I spoke to someone that's been working at one of the schools for a while now, and they say that students have become meaner year after year. Looking into the data shows a similarly grim picture. Indiana's 2023 federal report card shows that we had 138 incidents of violence, which includes bullying and harassment. There were a total of 5,460 incidents in the state, according to the Department of Education. If we were to spread this across all 290 school corporations equally, that means that each school corporation would account for about 19 incidents. That means that the Community Schools of Frankfort had over 7 times the average amount of incidents per school corporation. The amount of suspensions and expulsions aren't a great sign either. A very quick Google search will show you the harmful effects of suspensions and expulsions. I'm not saying that it never needs to be done, but perhaps exploring other ways of tackling the problem with bullying at our schools could be beneficial. One solution could be hiring more school psychologists. The National Association of School Psychologists says that school psychologists are uniquely qualified members of school teams that support students' ability to learn and teachers' ability to teach. They help children succeed academically, socially, behaviorally, and emotionally. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, the Community Schools of Frankfort only employed 2 school psychologists for the 23-24 school year. There was 1 for every 1,500 students. The NASP recommends 1 for every 500. That's 3 times the amount of students that our school psychologists should be in charge of. The state and national ratio of students to school psychologists was 1,703 to 1 and 1,065 to 1, respectively. So we did better than the state average, but we were still way behind the national average. Now I looked through the school's websites to see if that changed for this year. I could only find 1 school psychologist that worked both at Blue Ridge and Green Meadows. That could just be a user error or a website error, but if it's not, then that means that things are worse than even the data says. None of this is to say that the support staff at the Community Schools of Frankfort was completely inadequate. In fact, the Community Schools of Frankfort surpassed the amount of school counselors that is recommended. The American School Counselor Association recommends 1 counselor for every 250 students, and we had 1 for every 214. They do note that studies show that smaller ratios show a general improvement in schools, but there's only so much our school counselors can do, especially when we have a shortage of school psychologists. Creating a proper environment with the help of school psychologists could lead to happier teachers that stay and better student outcomes. Bringing me to my next point. Almost across the board, students attending the Community Schools of Frankfort are way behind their peers academically. The data that I'm about to show you is from the Indiana Department of Education. In almost every chart and category, aside from this first page, you'll see that we're behind the state average. I'd even argue that the graduation rate and employment and enrollment numbers aren't the best indicators that we're doing well, but that's beside the point. For 3rd grade literacy, we're up only 0.6% from 2021. For 6th grade math growth, we're up 3.3% from 2022, but we're still down 5.4% from 2023, which means we did 3% worse than the state average. 836 was the average SAT composite score of CSF students. The state average was 971. That's a difference of 135 points. There seems to be a spike in improvement in 2023 for a lot of these charts, but then they go right back down to what they were before, sometimes even ending up in a worse position. Unfortunately, I can't say for certain why that is. If you want to see even more data about how the Community Schools of Frankfort are underperforming, you can head to the Indiana Federal Report Card and scroll through the different tabs. I can save you the trouble by summarizing it. We're way behind on reaching our 2028 goals. I can't understate how unlikely it is that we will hit them. I'll also save you the trouble of looking at the data for Clinton Prairie and Clinton Central schools. They're pretty much blowing us out of the water. I don't even remember which categories we did better in, if any at all. Why could we be so far behind? Well, apart from the possibility that we don't have enough school psychologists, it could be because we don't have enough experienced teachers. 26% of our teachers had less than 2 years of experience under their belt for the 22-23 school year. Now, I read a study for a different video that generally says the more time a teacher has spent teaching, the more effective they are as a teacher. Make sure to check my other videos out and subscribe to my YouTube channel to keep up with important information that others might overlook, such as the kind in this video. I'm doing my best to inform myself, and I make these videos so I can share the information that I find with you all. Getting back to the topic at hand, we also had 11 educators that were teaching in a subject they weren't certified in. That raises the question, how do we keep our teachers? I believe higher pay for our teachers could attract more talent and make our teachers want to stick around. The salary range for our teachers in the 24-25 school year is anywhere from about $40,500 for those without experience to $72,500 for those with the most experience. In Indiana, for the school year of 2020 to 2021, the average school teacher salary was about $56,600. Accounting for inflation, that would be worth about $65,700 in 2024. That means that the average salary for teachers in 2021 was only $6,000 less than the highest possible salary in Frankfort today. Our teachers have the same salary range as they did last year. So if we account for inflation once again, that means that they actually lost about $1,100. If we go back even further to 21-22, their salary range was $40,000 to $72,000. In 3 years, it's gone up about $500. In contrast, the average teacher salary in Indiana increased from about $58,500 in 22-23 to about $60,500 in 23-24. That's a $2,000 pay bump. Both Clinton Prairie and Clinton Central school corporations offer higher salary maximums. Clinton Prairie's cap is $4,000 higher, and Clinton Central's is over $9,000 higher. Now, I didn't look too much into the benefits, but I imagine for teachers with more experience and credentials that those higher salary maximums have got to be enticing. Even though the salary for our teachers really hasn't changed all that much, the teachers union was able to bargain for a one-time stipend of $1,500 and an extra $100 in VEBA account contributions. In addition, teachers that were rated as at least effective will get another stipend, but it's unclear how much that will actually be. While there have been some improvements in teacher pay, it's my opinion that if we want better teachers, a better teacher retention rate, and better student outcomes, that we should offer more. And just as a quick fun fact, we have 24 positions that are yet to be filled at our schools. I want to make it very clear that it's not my intention to place blame on any single person, group, or organization. With my limited knowledge, I don't think it would be fair or honest of me to do so. My intent with this video is simply to help and offer solutions with data. We are struggling with a complex issue that I believe is going to take a concerted effort from everyone, especially us regular citizens. Everyone watching this video has a voice and a chance to make a positive impact in their local community. Some might say that parents need to take more responsibility for their children, and I agree to some extent, but I don't think focusing on that will benefit us. We can't control what happens at home. We can only control what happens at school. I know a lot of you watching this might not be satisfied with the state of our schools. I'm not saying that these solutions will fix all of our problems, but I do believe that they could be worth exploring. Implementing these solutions would probably lead to higher taxes, and I know that's something that you might not like to hear, but when we invest in our schools, we invest in our kids, our community, and our future. I really encourage you to research all of the economic benefits of a quality public education, because there's a lot. And if you're really worried about funding for our schools, I think you should pay attention to the stuff that's happening at the state and national level. Reach out to the school board and the superintendent and let them know what you think. Remember that the superintendent is accountable to the school board, and the school board is, of course, accountable to us. I'll leave the link to the school board members down below. Click on it and then click on any one of their names, and it should open up your email app for you. Remember to be civil. There's no need for personal attacks. They don't help at all. I'll also leave a link to read about the roles of the superintendent and the school board, so make sure to read that as well. Feel free to let me know what you think. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day, and make sure to make your voice heard. Bye.